Music is shaped by culture. It reflects the changing times, movements, and major events of the day. One genre that embodies these attributes is rock music, a staple of American culture, which has had its influence spread worldwide. To understand how we got modern metal, indie rock, and pop punk, let's go all the way back. MTV. On August 1st, 1981, a new television channel swept the nation. Well, parts of New Jersey. The first music video to air was fittingly Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. This was revolutionary as it maintained a platform for upcoming artists of many genres for well over a decade. MTV grew to be a favorite in North and South America, Europe, and Asia. The channel began airing cartoons and reality shows including Beavis and Butthead, its spin-off Daria, and The Osbournes. In 1994, they hosted the first MTV Music Video Awards. Their first MTV Movie Award show was hosted 8 years later. MTV is remembered for pushing the envelope. Punk rock. Punk rock music made a name for itself in the 1970s with the popularization of the Ramones. Clash, Siouxsie and the Banshees, and Misfits were also part of the first wave of rebels. The Offspring began the second wave in 1985. Still, punk was dying off, and bands were breaking up left and right. In 1988, Epitaph Records became a safe haven for future hardcore bands. 1 year later, Green Day joined the scene, soon followed by Blink-182. Riot Grrrl. In Olympia, Washington, a group of punk girls formed the Riot Grrrl movement. In 1989, Allison Wolfe met feminist Molly Newman at the University of Oregon, who passed on the idea of starting a band. The girls traveled back to DC and picked up guitarist/author Aaron Smith. The trio formed Bratmobile, and later returned that summer to join forces with Bikini Kill. The bands ran a feminist magazine titled Riot Grrrl. The classmates befriended Toby Valley of Bikini Kill. They would go on to make music covering heavier women's issues including abuse, body image, equal pay, women's rights, and feminism. Bikini Kill officially started touring in 1991 and lasted until 1997. Bratmobile dissolved in 1994, only returning for a short reunion. Allison Wolfe and Aaron Smith broke off to form Cold Cold Hearts. Bikini Kill, Heavens to Betsy, and Bratmobile were the first groups to officially form under this subgenre. Grunge. While bands at the time hated being labeled, grunge was an iconic piece of the 90s. Nirvana, Alice in Chains, and Stone Temple Pilots were three iconic bands from the height of its popularity. Before these bands, we had Green River. In the 1980s, author Clark Humphrey published Loser, the real Seattle musical story. The first usage of the word grunge was used to describe these bands. Bruce Pavitt wrote a promotion for the band describing them as, quote, ultra-loose grunge that destroyed the morals of a generation. Their music had a fuzzy, distorted punkish sound with tired, messy vocals and sublime lyrics. In 91, Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Stone Temple Pilots all released albums kicking off the movement. While the sound gained more popularity in the mainstream, the bands valued the underground personal vibe they began with. In 1990, a TV show called Top of the Pops hosted a Nirvana live broadcast. To their disdain, the hosts wanted them to play a pre-recording of their songs. In protest, Cobain botched his singing, Dave Grohl goofed around on the drums, and Chris Novoselic spun his guitar around. Overseas, a folk rock band was taking listeners by storm. The Cranberries, based in Ireland, started as a humble quartet in the mid-1980s, inspired by the likes of The Cure. It was only in 1990 that lead singer Dolores O'Riordan joined the band after blowing them away with her powerful vocals. Her
vocal range gave the band an iconic sound, varying from humble folk rock to full-on opera. Dolores had big expectations for the group from the get-go. The band collectively produced fluid yet dramatic melodies and earnest lyricism. Their popularity spread throughout the UK and the US.
Ska, punk, and funk. As music from around the world reached audiences, and with TV bringing complete strangers together, our modern sounds continued to evolve. Ska music originated in 1950s Jamaica. The sound was a combination of Caribbean calypso, R&B, and jazz. Jamaica was still officially an English colony until 1962, so naturally the music migrated overseas in this time. Third wave ska music reached the United States in the 1980s, but only became popular the following decade. Ska music set the stage for rocksteady and reggae. No Doubt was an American new wave band that formed in 1987. The band joined Interscope Records and continued to struggle making a scene. The trio dropped their hit album Tragic Kingdom in 1995. Rocksteady featured the best of their work, including Underneath It All with a heavily reggae-inspired beat and Rocksteady with a laid-back ska beat. Red Hot Chili Peppers is a fusion funk band from Los Angeles. Their groovy sound was inspired by 70s funk. Though band members were changed out multiple times throughout their discography, the band continued to rise up the chart, releasing hits like Danny California and Dark Necessities. The group has played with popular artists including Danger Mouse and Bruno Mars. Rap meets rock. Run DMC was a huge artist on the 80s hip-hop scene. In the mid-1980s, hip-hop was still in its infancy. The musical focus was on creative lyricism and fun rhymes. At the time, hip-hop was seen as a passing fad and was yet to be taken seriously. In 1986, Run DMC and Aerosmith teamed up to release a collab album titled King of Rock. The two most iconic songs of the album were King of Rock and Walk This Way. While rap rock has been normalized through bands like Rage Against the Machine and Linkin Park, these men were the first. Run and Aerosmith members Steven Tyler and Joe Perry hurried to the studio to re-record Walk This Way, and the song was released promptly. The iconic song went down as a rap classic for generations. Metal and controversy. Blues originally was the sound of hardship, hope, and growth. That idea was passed on to its predecessors. Rock music splintered off into many genres since its birth. By 2000, we got black metal, Celtic metal, ska, punk, grunge, progressive rock, thrash metal, goth rock, and so much more. Rock music often stems from frustration and drama. By the 1990s, there was a new generation disillusioned to the government, and they made their voices heard. System of a Down was an Armenian-American thrash metal band that made their name in California. Members Serj Tankian, Darren Malakian, and Shavo Odagian introduced aggressive social commentary on the concepts of war, consumerism, and capitalism. Their vibrant, hyperactive discography includes hits like Hypnotize, Chop Suey, and Toxicity. The band officially made their debut in 1998, playing on the Ozfest and Slayer tours.
The toxicity of our city, Yo, what are you on the wall? How you on the side?
The band continued dropping albums until 2007, finally breaking up in 2010 to pursue alternative projects after political differences. After their breakup, the members continued raising awareness for Armenian issues. Rage Against the Machine is a rap rock group comprised of 4 members.
Their sound was a funk rap rock fusion that challenged the separation of genres and helped unite people of different backgrounds. The band smashed onto the scene with songs about police brutality, systemic racism, and the abuse of the American punishment system. The band has been on and off since then, always exploding back onto the scene with the same energy. The band reformed in the 2010s on a side project as Prophets of Rage, continuing their message of political change, social consciousness, and progress with a few new faces. Chucky D, Cypress Hill, and Be Real fused with the original Rage members to form a new supergroup. Rage Against the Machine planned on returning in 2020, but postponed due to the global pandemic. They intend to continue rocking as soon as possible. Woodstock 1999, Ozzfest, and Vans Warped Tour. The 1990s were the decade of the festival. Ozzfest and Vans Warped Tour shed a light on new sounds and faces every year to excited, hyperactive crowds. Woodstock was an iconic event of the hippie era, epitomizing many voices of a generation. In 1999, new artists attempted to rekindle that same spark, partnering with MTV. Unfortunately, that spark ended in unbridled flames. The tour took place on Griffiths Air Force Base in New York, an area with high enough toxicity levels to concern the EPA. In 100-degree weather and no shade, bands including Limp Bizkit and Red Hot Chili Peppers played their sets to massive crowds. During the Chili Peppers performance, the stage lit on fire. The concert ended in violence, injuries, and flames. Ozzfest was a yearly tour lineup that started in 1997. Named after Black Sabbath member Ozzy Osbourne, the festival featured Pantera, Tool, Metallica, and similar artists. The tour has made a legacy in the US and the UK alike, putting new subgenres on blast to the masses. By 2001, the festival became an established tradition. Ozzfest is still releasing tickets to this day and shows no signs of stopping. Vans Warped Tour began in 1995, kicking off their legacy with eclectic bands such as No Doubt, Deftones, and Sublime. Vans is a staple of skater culture, and their yearly festival was an iconic backdrop for a generation. In later years, the tour featured Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, and All American Rejects. While 2020 has put a lull on festivals and concerts nationwide, many of them intend to continue.
Rock is a culmination of struggle, rebellion, storytelling, and hope. As the genre progressed, a new brand of independence was born.